All right, you wanted the dirt on Aussie conservation. Strap yourselves in because shit's about to get wild. We're going deep with a stack of info straight from Wikipedia.
Wikipedia, huh?
Yeah, no, Wikipedia. But sometimes you strike gold in that shit heap.
True. Some real nuggets in there. So Aussie conservation, where do we even start?
Well, let's cut the crap and get right into it.
All right, let's go.
Australia, it's like a biodiversity explosion. A whole continent of unique, batshit, crazy creatures you won't find anywhere else.
It really is, mate. You got a whole continent packed with the weirdest shit evolution could cook up. Makes you wonder how the hell Noah fit all those creepy crawlies on the Ark, right?
Seriously, it's like Noah got hammered and just chucked every freaky-looking critter onto that damn boat.
But here's the kicker.
What's that?
We're screwing it all up. Big time.
Yeah, no kidding. Deforestation, pollution, invasive species. It's like we're trying to turn the whole damn continent into a parking lot.
Human impact is a massive issue, no doubt about it. But it's not just the obvious stuff.
Like what?
Dryland salinity.
Dryland what now?
Salinity, basically, vast chunks of farmland are turning into salty wastelands.
So the soil's getting a salt overdose and can't grow anything.
Pretty much. It's like the land's having a bad trip, man. Can't function.
That sounds like a recipe for a goddamn dust bowl.
Yeah, not a pretty picture.
Speaking of things that'll make you shit your pants, let's talk about sharks. What's with Australia's hard-on for shark culling? They're turning the ocean into a bloodbath.
Yeah, Queensland and New South Wales have these culling programs.
And they've killed thousands of sharks.
Thousands. The idea is to reduce attacks, but the effectiveness is debatable.
Debatable. They're wiping out entire populations. What about the collateral damage?
Well, they're not just killing sharks.
Let me guess. Turtles, dolphins, anything that swims gets caught in the crossfire.
Exactly. It's a real concern for the ecosystem.
So they're playing Russian roulette with the entire marine ecosystem. Talk about a fucked up way to manage wildlife. This is getting me pissed off. Let's move on to something less depressing. How about a cute, fuzzy animal or something?
Well, how about a living fossil?
A what?
A living fossil. The woolly pine. This tree was thought to be extinct until they found a tiny population in a secret canyon back in the 90s. Less than 50 mature trees left in the whole world.
Hold on, they found this tree and stuck it in some secret location like it's the goddamn Holy Grail. Want all the secrets.
Well, trying to protect it. The location is top secret. Access is strictly controlled. Worried about diseases, people messing things up, you know.
So it's like a botanical unicorn hiding out in a secret forest. That's some next-level conservation shit.
But it makes you wonder, what's the point of protecting a few trees when we're crashing the rest of the environment? Don't lose hope just yet. Australia actually has a pretty solid legal framework for conservation. Federal laws, international agreements, a whole system of protected areas. They're even part of this thing called the Ramsar Convention, all about protecting wetlands.
Wetlands? Seriously, who gives a shit about swamps? They're just mosquito-infested hellholes.
Wetlands are way more important than you might think. They're like the filters of the environment, cleaning water, providing habitats. They even help regulate flooding and store carbon.
All right, maybe swamps aren't so bad. But laws and treaties are just words on paper. Who's actually out there getting their hands dirty protecting all this stuff?
You've got a whole army of conservation organizations on the ground, mate. Big names like the Australian Conservation Foundation, smaller groups focused on specific species or regions, habitat restoration, wildlife rescue, educating the public. They do it all.
So it's not just bureaucrats pushing paper. There are actual people fighting the good fight.
Oh, yeah. There are heaps of them. You got the Koala Foundation, obviously focused on koalas. Then you have groups like the Wildlife Warriors, started by Steve Irwin and his family, all about conservation and education.
Wildlife Warriors. Sounds like a bloody superhero team. Do they have cool costumes and secret lairs?
Maybe not capes and masks, but they're doing heroic work, that's for sure.
So it's not all doom and gloom then. There's actually some hope for these Aussie critters.
It's a mixed bag, mate. Huge challenges, no doubt, but there's also a lot of passion, dedication, and action. So we're talking about these conservation warriors, and what blows my mind is how different their approaches are.
How so?
Some groups, like the Koala Foundation, they're laser focused on a single species.
Right.
Others are tackling bigger issues like habitat loss or those bloody invasive species. And then you've got the ones working the political angle, trying to push for stronger laws and policies. It's a multi-pronged attack on a seriously complex problem.
So there's a goddamn eco-war going on down under. Different factions fighting different battles.
That's one way to put it.
So have they actually won any battles? Give me some good news, mate. Tell me these eco-warriors aren't just pissing in the wind.
There have been some wins.
Like what?
Take the Wollemi pine. They've managed to grow it in nurseries
Yeah.
and plant new trees in secret spots to create backup populations. It's a long shot, but it gives this ancient species a fighting chance.
So they're playing God with these trees, creating a botanical backup plan in case the original population gets wiped out. Sounds risky.
It is, but desperate times, right?
Yeah, true. But what about the bigger picture? Are they making any progress on those big issues? Deforestation, pollution, or are we just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic?
It's a mixed bag, mate.
How so?
Australia has made some commitments to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and protect forests, but they've got a long way to go. The pressure to develop and exploit resources is huge.
And that usually comes at the expense of the environment?
So, the same old story. Promises, targets, blah, blah, blah. But what about the average Aussie? Do they actually give a shit about this greeny stuff?
Public awareness and support for conservation, it's definitely growing. People are starting to realize their unique environment is under threat. But like anywhere, you got a whole spectrum of opinions.
So yeah, the diehard greenies on one end and the drill baby drill crowd on the other.
And everyone in between.
Sounds like a recipe for a brawl.
It can get pretty heated.
What are some of the biggest environmental battlegrounds? Where's the eco-war really heating up?
Mining is a huge one.
How so?
Australia is loaded with resources, and there's a lot of pressure to dig it all up. Coal, iron ore, uranium, the lot.
And that means destroying wilderness areas.
Polluting waterways, displacing indigenous communities. It's a classic clash between short-term profit and long-term sustainability.
So money versus the environment. Who's winning?
It's a constant tug of war. Some big wins for the environment, but the pressure to exploit resources is relentless.
So we've got rare trees clinging to life, sharks getting slaughtered, and mining companies trying to turn the outback into a giant hole in the ground. What the hell does the future hold for Aussie conservation? Give it to me straight, Doc. Is there any hope? Or are we all fucked?
The future of conservation in Australia, it depends on a lot of things. Government policies, new technology, social attitudes, and, of course, climate change. It's complicated.
Cut the academic crap. Just tell me, are the koalas going to be extinct by next Christmas? Is the whole damn continent going to turn into a Mad Max wasteland?
I can't predict the future, mate. But I can say Australia's at a crossroads. They could become a global leader in conservation, but they face some serious challenges. The choices they make now will have a massive impact on their environment and the people who live there.
So it's a choose-your-own-adventure situation. Go green or go Mad Max.
It's not that simple, but you get the idea. The future's not set in stone. It depends on what we do or don't do. And when it comes to conservation, there's no time to waste.
All right, I need another beer after all that doom and gloom. Let's take a break and come back for the final round. We'll figure out what we can actually do to help save these furry little bastards from extinction. All right, we're back for the final round of this Aussie conservation cage match. We've talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now let's cut to the chase. What the hell can we actually do to help these furry little bastards, besides throwing a few bucks at a charity and calling it a day?
It's not all about the cash, mate. First off, get informed.
Informed.
Yeah, learn about the ecosystems in your own backyard, the threats they face, the groups working to protect them.
Knowledge is power, sure, but knowledge doesn't stop bulldozers or greedy corporations. How do we actually make a difference?
There's a lot you can do. Supporting conservation organizations is a good start.
Donating, volunteering, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Every bit helps.
So I can donate my hard-earned cash to hug a koala or plant a tree. Sounds a bit too warm and fuzzy for me. Any way to get involved without getting all emotional about it.
Mate, conservation is about passion, but it's also about making smart choices in your everyday life.
Like what?
Reduce your carbon footprint. Watch your water usage. Choose sustainable products. You can vote for politicians who actually give a damn about the environment.
Hold their feet to the fire if they don't deliver.
Exact.
All right, so it's about making smarter choices, being a bit more aware of our impact. I can dig that, but let's be real. Most people are too busy to give a shit about the environment. What's the incentive for them to change? Why should they care?
Well, besides the whole saving the planet thing, there are some pretty selfish reasons to care about conservation.
Like what?
A healthy environment means clean air and water, abundant food, places to go and enjoy nature. It's about protecting our own quality of life.
So if we don't get our act together, we'll all be choking on smog, eating irradiated kangaroo meat, and surfing in a sea of plastic.
It's not a pretty picture.
No, it's not.
But Australia could be a global leader in sustainable living. It's going to take a collective effort, though. We all need to step up.
So the message is clear. Get informed, get involved, and make better choices. It's not about becoming a greedy saint. It's about doing what we can to protect this amazing place we call home. Cheers to that.
And remember, every action, no matter how small, it makes a difference. The future of Australian conservation is in our hands.
Well, there you have it, folks. Another deep dive, another dose of reality. We've explored the highs and lows of Aussie conservation, and it's clear the fight's not over. But hey, at least we're not talking about politics or reality TV. So crack open another beer, get out there and enjoy this beautiful planet. And maybe, just maybe, do your part to keep it that way. Cheers.